I like reading my negative comments way more than my positive ones. I mean it. And I don't think they're trolls and haters. I really don't. I think that they've consumed me in a context, and I need to be thoughtful about what they're thinking. Now, I equally believe that if you're taking time to consume other people's content on the internet, and then you have the energy to leave terrible comments, you're in a sad place yourself. So usually when I read like, Gary Vee, you're a snake oil salesman, my first default is, okay, why did they interpret this content this way? But even before I go there, even before that, my first default is like, I feel bad for that person.
Yeah. And you've just hit someone who you want to reach, right? In some ways.
I understand what you're saying.
If I relay that to what I'm doing too, if I get that comment where it's like, oh yeah, but these people should get a job, and they're drugs, and they're this thing and that thing, I'm like, that's exactly who I want to talk to. Because otherwise I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing. Otherwise someone else just nodding their head.
I think that's right. And I think also you just have to understand humans. Humans only know two ways to build the biggest building in town. Most people's strategy of building the biggest building in town is by tearing down everybody else's building. There are a few people who just go out, put their head down, and try to just build the biggest building. And I think that for whatever reason, that thank God that moment that my parents decided to have sex and have a child, that default DNA that I have, the thought of tearing down other people for my success seems like such loser shit. Like when I watch other people try to tear down the competitive landscape for them to look big, it's the biggest tell of a loser. And a lot of people get micro big wins in that. That model works. You could build a building and tear everybody. It works. I think people get confused. It works in the short term. It's got no sustainability for legacy. That person always loses at the end. Always. But people are caught up in short-term ROI because you're insecure and you care about other people's opinion. I'm passionate about this haters, trolls thing. I think people are quickly defaulting immediately if somebody doesn't agree with them and calling them a troll or a hater. And they may be, but I think it's I genuinely mean this. I take a lot of heat because I put myself very out there. But I genuinely have become great friends with many people that shit on me or have come to understandings. It's very important, to be thoughtful. Like, look, somebody who might say you're a fucking jerk off and you're just trying to build a business, you don't know if their aunt committed suicide and that's like hurt them in their heart and they know you're a business, they knew you before and you've been an entrepreneur. You don't know. I just don't think we know. I think I don't know. I'm getting very passionate about judgment. I'm still in my working stages on it, but it's crazy. I'm just like, I have opinions. I'm a normal human being. I got hot takes on everything. But I know they're bullshit. Because I know even the people I know super well, even D-Rock, who I know super well, man, do I not know a lot. And so if that's the case, the hell am I doing with your one piece of content or your one question or, right? You can go on intuition, all this, but I think we need to be more thoughtful about pushback because it's been very helpful for me. I think it's important.
Yeah, and I think you allow, through doing that, you allow yourself that. I wrote something a couple of days ago where I was saying to allow for a stranger's bad day is to allow for yours. Catch me on Monday morning without a coffee. Dear oh dear. It's I'm going to be that person, definitely this week or next or whenever. And I think empathizing with another is empathizing with yourself, and I think in relation to what we're saying with comments, you're right. I think labeling it just haters is actually what's a human. It's a human who is coming from this place.
I'll be honest with you. Most of the hate I get is when if I'm very fair and I enjoy it, and it's why I think I am empathetic. I'm like, look, this person saw this clip for 1 minute on Instagram. It's the only thing they know about me. I hit their explore page. I'm very self-aware of my different personality traits. And when I have the mic and you don't, I've got way more fire and bravado and energy than if we're just sitting one-on-one. And it's only a minute. And if I didn't contextualize it perfectly, it can be out of context. And me out of context is a fucking disaster. As are most people. Especially with me, with passions and opinions, out of context, big fucking trouble. And so if I can see it through their eyes. And then there's also people that don't have vested interest in you being right. If you sell television commercials in America, you don't love me. You know, like, and that's fine, and that's fair. Like, I try to educate, I try to have a conversation with those people. I have a lot of friends who sell things that I don't believe in, and we'll have a beer, and I'm like, look, do you actually believe it? Because some of my friends actually believe that buying a television commercial in 2019 is the best use of money to make something happen. That I love. That means we just have different points of view. My bigger problem is you're an SVP at a TV company, you're bonused on that business, and you're only saying it because that's what you're currently selling, and next month when you're an SVP at Facebook, you're shitting on TV. That I've got a problem with. Not really. Live your life. You're just not going to win the long game because you won't be historically correct, so you're going to damage your brand, your reputation, and I think that matters. I'm very proud of like saying what I believe in. I'm not going to always be right, but I've never said anything I don't believe in for financial vested interest, which is why I don't feel vulnerable. My number one thing I can't wait for in the world right now in the micro and business is when I decide that social media is overpriced. Like, can't wait. If Cambridge Analytica didn't happen, it might have happened sooner, but I think I still got 3 to 5 years. But in 9 years, with no hair, you're gonna see me on whatever the Instagram of the day is, and I'm gonna be like, you're buying fucking Instagram, you asshole? And I can't wait, because that's when I'll be able to go full circle, because a lot of things that I struggle with in marketing today are the things I use to build Wine Library. I used to get 14% click-throughs on winespectator.com in 1997. 14. Like, I loved banner ads, but I don't like them anymore. And things change. And so the Yellow Pages was the fucking best. That's why everybody calls their company AAA everything, because you showed up first. But shit changes. I think one of the biggest reasons I talk way more about trying to buy the New York Jets than I do about all the good things I do is because I think I've wanted to speed up the interactions of I don't mind that people think what they think, and I think transparency matters. I think most people's vulnerability that are good humans are hiding whatever selfish things they want for themselves because they think it undermines their good. And I think you can carry two contradictory things within a human being, and I think your life's work will play out, and we will judge in the end. I am outrageously interested in being booed in the third quarter. I just want to be cheered when it's 0-0. You understand? People struggle with that because it comes down to self-esteem and insecurities and many other things. I tell everybody that I meet along the way that I think is authentic, put your 2 fingers in your ears, execute in perpetuity, and let the fucking chips fall. That's the only way you'll ever be able to achieve something remarkable, because when you are doing anything interesting or game-changing or like different, I've only been booed my whole life. Every single thing I've done, basically from school to professionally. I mean, I don't know if I've ever taken more heat for not opening a second liquor store with my dad. Like the entire liquor industry, which was my life, right? My dad's liquor industry in New Jersey was my life. Every one of those people fucking ridiculed the shit out of me for selling liquor on the computer. You're pouring all that money and selling liquor on the computer? You should open a second liquor store, right? So like, I think there's certain people, entrepreneurs, givers, politicians, there's millions of different kinds of teachers. There's certain people who are just capable of doing that. And I think the reason I talk a lot about it is my hope is if this one fucking answer can let them hear one less voice, that's moving the needle. Because you're either on offense or you're on defense. And dwelling about other people's opinions of how you live your life is defense. And I want to remind everybody, the current state of political correctness moves. I have no interest in living my life and parenting my children on today's current state of how you should raise your children. You raise your children your way. I'll raise mine, right? And I think that's something that I think anybody doing something has to navigate. The other thing is I try to convince nobody of anything. I have zero interest in convincing anybody that anything I say is right. Like zero. Like people are always like, Gary, how do you convince the clients to do social media? I'm like, I don't. I tell them what I believe, and hopefully they'll do something about it. And if not, then I can't wait to see them in 7 years when I can tell them, I told you so, dick. You know, like I really feel like I win either way every time. I really feel like that's what happens. I'll either be historically correct and I'll razz you. All these kids that are not signing with Vayner Sports right now, right? Because me and my brother have this sports agency, and we're coming in second a lot because they're enamored, but we're still new. And this agency that's been doing it for 40 years and did it for my favorite player feels like a smarter bet. It's crazy. I fucking love it. There's a thing that came out about Kobe and Dwayne Wade this weekend, where Dwayne Wade was talking about how he broke Kobe's nose in an All-Star game, and he called him like a day later. And Kobe was like, no, I love it. I love that you fucking broke my nose. And everyone was just talking about how crazy Kobe was. And I was like, watching that video, I was like, fuck, I so understand that. The only thing I like better than winning a piece of business is losing it. I genuinely enjoy it more. I was getting out of the car, and I looked at the guy who was sitting in a truck, and he was like a rugged looking dude. And I looked at him, and I smiled, and he smiled back at me. And I just remember thinking, like, because I do it all, I'm just happy, and I fucking love smiling at people, because one, I live in New York, and so like, that just fucks with people in general. But it is one of the, it's the much more lightweight micro version of what you're saying, but it is stunning how much people enjoy if you look them dead in the eye while walking by them in the airport or on the street and smile at them, how stunningly warm the reaction is by people. And I think about these things because I'm like, okay, if I start really pushing this, well, then it's going to become a tactic. And but then I'm like, back to your question, like giving too much, I'm like, but that's still good because that's better than not doing. Like, I think about this shit all the time, but I don't know, it hit me so hard. I don't know why it was this time. I don't know what the hell I sensed or what was going on. It was just, it really like shook, like, like I get goosebumps, I like feel shit sometimes. I was like, this was good. There was something there. I remember thinking like, where the fuck's D-Rock? Like, we should have filmed this, like, and I think this is an important topic. Yeah. I really do think this is an important topic. And by the way, I think the macro anxiety and tension in our world today, politically, I think is a tremendous thing. I just want everybody to know. I think it's a tremendous thing. One man's point of view. Yeah. Because I think it's our one step backwards for two steps forward, because I think we're being exposed. I think that 37 years ago, which is 5 minutes ago, if we're sitting here and we're telling everybody here that meditation's the shit, we're some weird monks from fucking India. Yeah. Now every cool fucking hipster meditates every day and it's the core of their fucking existence. Right? I mean this. I think that it's really funny, the timing of things that are fucking completely outlandish. The way we eat and exercise and mental, everything that we now think is standard, cool, or right, 30 years ago was some left field shit. Just like my entire fucking life at this point, secretly, is to trick 15 to 25-year-old alpha males that nobody else can get to except me, and trick them into understanding that kindness and gratitude and empathy is the foundation of an alpha winner.